My dad banned me from mom's anniversary, then my sister's fiancé looked at me and said, "Hi, director. My name is Emily Harper, and I'm 34 years old, living in a quiet town just under an hour's drive from Seattle. Every morning, I grind beans for a pour-over coffee, the nutty aroma filling my small kitchen as I skim tech news on my phone. I check my calendar, sip the first bitter warmth, and step out for the short walk to my office, barely a block away. The air here is crisp, laced with pine, and the streets are lined with low brick buildings that feel more like home than anywhere else. I'm the co-founder of a medtech startup working on devices that monitor chronic conditions. A job I love, but struggle to explain to anyone who thinks tech just means coding apps all day. Most people don't get it, especially my family. To them, I'm just Emily, the odd one, always tinkering, always serious. My parents, Richard and Diane, live a few states away in a house I've memorized down to the creaky porch steps. Growing up, I was the younger daughter, the one who faded into the background next to my sister, Vanessa. She's 37 now, 3 years older, and has always been the star. Graceful, radiant, with a laugh that draws every eye at family gatherings. Vanessa could walk into a room wearing a plain sweater and still get compliments on her elegance. Me, I'd show up in jeans and a blouse, my hair in a practical ponytail, and get a pat on the shoulder. Maybe "You look nice, Emily." It wasn't malice, just habit. Vanessa was the daughter they showcased. I was the one they assumed would be fine on her own. Family dinners were a stage for Vanessa's stories. Her latest promotion, her charming new friend, her weekend at some vineyard. Relatives would nod, beaming, saying, "Vanessa, you're going places." If my name came up, it was a quick detour. "Emily's doing something with computers, right?" I'd smile, correct them gently. Medical technology, actually. But their eyes would glaze over, already drifting back to Vanessa's glow. My parents didn't mean to dismiss me, I don't think. They just didn't know what to do with a daughter who didn't sparkle the way Vanessa did, who spent her evenings debugging code instead of charming strangers. What they never saw, what no one in the family bothered to ask about, was how I kept things together behind the scenes. For years, I've sent money to cover their bills. Electricity, water, even the Wi-Fi they used to stream their shows. Thousands of dollars wired quietly because Diane would call saying, "Vanessa's between jobs," or "Richard needed a new tire." I never said no. It wasn't about praise, it felt like my role. The practical one who handled the mess so Vanessa could keep shining. But it stung. The way they'd thank me with a quick "appreciate it" and move on like I was a bank, not a daughter. Next week is my parents' anniversary party, a big deal for them. I'm planning to fly out early, help set up, maybe bring a cake from their favorite bakery. It's nothing grand, just what I do. Show up, pitch in. As I lock my front door and head to the office, my coffee still warm in my hand, I wonder if this time they'll notice me, really see me, not just as the one who gets things done. The walk to my office is short, but my mind drifts far, back to the years I've spent holding up my family's world without a spotlight. For 2 years, I've sent my parents money every month. Electricity, water, internet, even repairs when their furnace sputtered or the roof leaked. By my last count, it's over $18,000 wired from my account with no fanfare. I didn't expect parades, but a real thank you. A question like, "Emily, how's this affecting you?" That would have meant something. Instead, my mom, Diane, would call with a sigh saying, "Vanessa's struggling, after switching jobs. Can you cover us?" And I did, because that's who I am, the one who fixes things. My dad, Richard, would text a curt "thanks" or nothing at all, as if my role was just assumed, like gravity or air. Vanessa never contributed. She was always between things. A new boutique project, a glamorous trip with friends, or too busy being the daughter my parents could brag about. At Thanksgiving, they'd rave about her latest adventure, her poise, while I sat quietly, knowing my latest wire transfer had paid for the turkey on the table. I didn't resent her, not exactly. I just wished someone would ask what I was building at work, how it felt to turn a college idea into a medtech company saving lives. But to them, my job was a foggy concept, too technical to grasp, not shiny like Vanessa's charm. I've been looking forward to my parents' anniversary party, a chance to step away from spreadsheets and be part of something warm, familiar. I booked a flight to arrive early, planning to help with decorations, maybe string lights in their backyard like I did for their 25th. Yesterday, I called to confirm, my laptop humming with emails in the background. Diane answered, her voice distracted, mentioning Vanessa's new fiancé, Nathan, a lawyer with a big firm. "He's impressive, Emily," she said, almost giddy. "Everyone's excited to meet him." I smiled, picturing the party, and asked what I could bring. Wine, a playlist, anything. Richard took the phone then, his tone flat, like he was reading a memo. "Emily, about the party. If you can, don't come this year." I froze, my fingers tightening around my mug. "What?" I managed, thinking I'd misheard. He cleared his throat, deliberate. "Vanessa's bringing Nathan. He's polished, successful. Your job, it's hard to explain to people. It'd just complicate things, make us look uneven." My chest constricted, a cold ache spreading. I tried to laugh it off, assuming he was stressed. "Dad, I've already got my ticket. I want to be there. Help out." His voice sharpened. No hesitation. "No, Emily, it's better if you stay away. We don't need comparisons dragging the mood down." I went numb, the phone heavy in my hand. "Are you saying I'd embarrass you?" I asked, my voice low, trembling. He didn't soften, didn't backtrack. "If you show up, it'll be awkward for everyone. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." Then he hung up, the line dead before I could respond. My apartment fell silent, the hum of my fridge the only sound. My coffee had gone cold, the mug still clutched in my palm. I stared at the wall, his words looping. Embarrass, complicate, stay away. For years, I'd been the shadow, but this was different. This was erasure. I opened my laptop, hands shaking, and logged into my banking app. The transaction history glared back. $189.40 for electricity, $149.20 for water, $259.60 for internet, month after month. I scrolled, the total climbing. 18,346.72 was. My heart sank, not from the number, but from what it meant. All that giving, and I was still the one they'd rather hide. I hovered over each auto payment, electric, water, internet, and clicked cancel. Notifications pinged, payment stopped. No questions, no warnings, just done. I closed the laptop, sat back, and felt something shift. Not anger, not yet, but a crack in the duty I'd carried for so long. The day of my parents' anniversary party dawns gray, Seattle's sky heavy with clouds that mirror the weight in my chest. I stay home. No flight, no suitcase packed with string lights or bakery orders. My phone sits on the kitchen counter, screen dark, as I pour a coffee I barely taste. I try to work, emails, a report on our latest medtech prototype, but my mind drifts to my parents' house, picturing the backyard where I'd planned to help. Instead, I'm here, silent, the echo of Richard's voice still sharp. Stay away. For the first time, I don't fight it. I let the day unfold without me. By noon, my phone buzzes, a single text from Diane. "Emily, power's out. Can you check? It's a big day." I stare at it, the casual tone slicing deeper than anger would. No mention of Richard's words, no hint they know why I'm not there. I set the phone down, face down, and keep working. Minutes later, another buzz. Richard this time. No water either. Call the providers now. My jaw tightens. I imagine their house, dark, faucets dry, guests arriving soon, and feel a strange calm, not guilt. I canceled those payments days ago, each click a quiet severance after years of giving without being seen. I don't reply. The texts pile up. Vanessa's comes next, sharp and entitled. "Emily, seriously? No internet. Mom's freaking out. Guests are almost here. Fix this." I read it, my coffee cold in my hand, and picture her in a flawless dress. Nathan at her side, oblivious to the $18,000 I've poured into their lives. I don't answer her either. The silence feels new, not heavy, but deliberate, like I'm finally holding space for myself. I move to the couch, open a book, but my eyes skim the same page, waiting for what comes next. Around 3 p.m., my phone lights up with a video call from Aunt Linda, the only relative who still sends me birthday texts, even if I rarely respond. I hesitate, then answer, her face appearing in a dim kitchen lit by her phone's flashlight. "Emily," she says softly, worry creasing her eyes. "The house is a mess. No lights, no water. Your mom's pacing, Vanessa's snapping at everyone. What's going on?" I open my mouth, unsure what to say, when background noise spills through, Diane muttering, "Where's Emily when we need her?" And Vanessa hissing, "She's probably sulking." Before I can speak, a new face joins the frame. Nathan, Vanessa's fiancé, in a crisp suit, his expression tense but polite. He squints at the screen, then freezes, his voice low with shock. "Emily Harper?" I nod, calm, watching his eyes widen. "You're my new director at Pacific MedTech. I start in Seattle next week." The room behind him goes quiet, a stillness so thick it feels like the air has been sucked out. Diane gasps softly. Richard clears his throat but says nothing. Vanessa's silhouette stiffens, her face out of view but her shock palpable. Linda's eyes dart between me and them, piecing it together. Nathan continues, almost to himself. "You co-founded the company. I had no idea." I give a faint smile, steady, and say, "Hope the party goes well, Nathan. Welcome to the team." My voice is even, no trace of anger, just clarity. I don't need to explain. They're hearing it now, the truth they never bothered to ask for. Linda's gaze softens, a flicker of respect crossing her face. The call ends abruptly. No goodbyes, just a blank screen. I lean back, my apartment silent except for the faint patter of rain outside. My heart doesn't race, it steadies like a knot loosening. They didn't know, not my role, not my work, not me. For years, I was the one who paid, who fixed, who faded. Now, in one moment, without a shout or a fight, they see me. Not the shadow, but the woman who built something real. I don't feel triumph, not exactly, just a quiet power, like standing on ground I've claimed for myself at last. The days after my parents' anniversary party blur into a strange calm, like the quiet after a storm breaks. My phone, once silent, becomes a battlefield. Vanessa's first message arrives that night, a wall of text dripping with blame. "You knew Nathan would be there, didn't you? You let the house fall apart to ruin everything. Mom's a wreck." I read it on my balcony, the Seattle skyline dim under clouds, and feel no urge to reply. Her words sting, but they don't sink in, not like they used to. Diane's text follows, softer, but no less hollow. "Emily, can you call the providers? We need to sort this out." No apology, no mention of Richard's rejection, just another ask, as if I'm still their fixer. By morning, an email from Nathan lands in my inbox. Subject: apology. "Emily, I'm sorry for the chaos. I didn't know your role or your family's view of you. I've ended things with Vanessa. Their lack of respect hit me hard. You stayed above it, and I admire that." I pause, surprised but not elated. His choice isn't my victory. It's just a crack in the facade Vanessa built. I reply briefly. "No need to apologize, Nathan. Let's keep work professional." He doesn't bring it up again. A week later, my doorbell rings on a rainy afternoon. I peer through the peephole. Richard and Diane, looking smaller than I remember, stand at my gate. My stomach twists, but I open the door, stepping aside without a word. Diane clutches a tote bag, her eyes tired. Richard's arms are crossed, his jaw tight. We sit in my living room, the air heavy. "Emily," Diane starts, voice shaky. "We're sorry things got tense. Can we talk?" I nod, waiting. Richard speaks, slow, like he's rehearsed it. "I said things I shouldn't have about the party. Vanessa's a mess since Nathan left and your mom's been crying. We just want to be a family again." I stay quiet, sensing the pivot coming. Diane pulls a paper from her bag, sliding it across the table. "We've been thinking," she says. "You're doing well. Could you help us with $20,500 a month? Just for bills, insurance, a little savings." Richard jumps in, too quick. "It's not much for you, Emily. We're family." I lean back, steady, and look at them. "What about Vanessa?" Diane hesitates. "She's not herself. Bad breakup. Shaky job. We can't ask her." I let out a soft laugh, not cruel, just clear. "Then here's my answer. Vanessa pays half. Why don't $250 or we sign a contract? If I keep helping, the house and assets go to me when you're gone." Silence chokes the room. Richard's face reddens, his fist hitting the table, rattling my water glasses. "You're putting conditions on your own parents after everything we've done?" I don't flinch. "Everything? I've sent $18,000 over 2 years. Electricity, water, repairs. Did you ever ask if I could afford it? Ever thank me? My voice is calm, not accusing, just true. Diane looks at Richard, pleading. Maybe we can discuss it. He stands, chair scraping. We raised you, and now you demand a contract? Ungrateful. I rise too, walking them to the door. I don't owe you silence anymore, I say, even. They leave, Diane glancing back, Richard's steps heavy. The door clicks shut. I stand by my window, rain streaking the glass, and feel no anger, just release. I've carried their weight too long, thinking duty meant erasing myself. Now I choose me, not out of spite, but because I'm worth more than their demands. The quiet in my apartment wraps around me, not empty, but full, like a space I've finally claimed as mine. Months have passed since my parents walked out my door, their footsteps fading into a silence that's held ever since. No calls, no texts, no trace of Vanessa's accusations or Diane's pleas. I expected it to hurt more, but instead, it feels like shedding a coat I'd worn too long, heavy, ill-fitting, but familiar. My days flow smoother now. Coffee brewed slow, walks to my office under Seattle's shifting skies, late nights refining medtech prototypes that hum with purpose. I'm not running from my family. I'm just not chasing them anymore. At work, Nathan settles in as head of finance, his reports crisp, his demeanor respectful. We don't mention Vanessa or the party, not once. Some truths don't need words. They sit quietly, understood. My team pushes forward, our latest device-cutting hospital readmissions, and I let myself feel proud, not for applause, but for the lives we touch. For years, I thought love meant proving myself to people who didn't look. Now, I know it starts with seeing myself clearly. One evening, I stop at a corner cafe, the kind with mismatched chairs and warm light spilling onto the sidewalk. I order a latte, settling by a window where rain taps softly. A wooden sign on the wall catches my eye. Home is where you choose to belong. I sip my drink, the foam warm against my lips, and think about that word, home. I used to believe it was a house with creaky steps, a place I'd always return to, no matter how small it made me feel. But home isn't obligation. It's respect, presence, a space where you're enough. I chose mine when I stopped paying for their approval. I think of you reading this, maybe nodding, maybe wondering if I was too harsh. I get it. Family's supposed to be forever, right? But what if forever means fading until you're gone? Have you ever had to choose yourself over expectations that dimmed you? I'd love to hear your story, your moment of saying enough, because sometimes one person's truth can light the way for someone else standing at that same crossroad. As I leave the cafe, the sky clears, stars pricking through Seattle's dusk. I walk home, my steps light, no hurry in my stride. The air smells of damp earth and cedar, and I breathe it deep, feeling whole, not because I won, but because I let go. Vanessa's still out there, maybe rebuilding, maybe not. My parents might whisper, I'm cold, ungrateful, but their words don't reach me now. I don't need them to see me to know who I am. My apartment glows softly as I unlock the door, a space that's mine, simple, quiet, full of my choices. I set my keys down, glancing at a photo on the shelf. Me and my college friends, laughing, the ones who became my co-founders, my real family. Tomorrow, I'll walk to work again, build something new, live without proving anything to anyone. The stars outside my window keep shining, steady, and for the first time in years, I feel like I'm shining too, not for them, but for me.